Well, hello, beautiful spirits. Thank you so much for joining me and your support of the channel. So, today I've done a meditation looking a little bit at some of you had asked questions if I could go deeper into the question about Trump's health, what's going on inside of his body, what I feel is going on in his body. There's been a lot of stories about the fact that Trump stinks, that he's had a history of having a stink. Is it true? Does he really have these problems? The first thing that I did a remote view on a couple of years ago had to do with what I believed was a prescription drug addiction in Donald Trump. This was because when I went into his energy, I found myself in nightclubs, working late at night, and I needed to be awake to see what was going on, sometimes until the sun comes up. And I was bragging to younger people that they didn't have my stamina. And that was because I was on Adderall, I was on amphetamines, I was pill popping. I wasn't drinking alcohol as Donald Trump, but I was taking stimulants that helped keep me awake. Diet Coke, which has caffeine, Adderall, possibly also amphetamine, other types of amphetamines as well. And that kept me edgy. A lot of people will drink coffee so that they can have a bowel movement. That's because caffeine can stimulate the bowels. We also have something called nicotine receptors in the bowels that also can stimulate. This is why people will smoke a cigarette and they will get stimulated to have a bowel movement after they smoke a cigarette. So there are certain drugs that people can take that will stimulate the bowels. So I felt very edgy, and I felt a lot of energy in the bowels, which and it was prescription drugs. I know that his former doctor, Bornstein, I believe it was a gastroenterologist and evidently had a reputation for prescribing prescription drugs. He may have had a challenge, Trump, with a lot of incontinence, fecal incontinence, and a drug problem, a prescription drug problem from amphetamines. I also felt that this was someone that could be yo-yo dieting, that he was struggling with his weight, and so he was possibly using amphetamines, Diet Coke, which can make you very edgy, but it can also curb your appetite, so that I was staggering my meals. Maybe I wasn't eating a lot in the morning, but I was eating at night, and it was because of this stimulation I felt. I also think it's having an impact on my heart, and I did feel like my cholesterol was elevated, or that I was starting to have health problems in my heart, strain on my heart from this hyped up, too much caffeine, possibly amphetamines, and then this hyperactivity in the bowels. The other thing I felt when I went into this energy was that I was having possibly trouble sleeping at night, and that's when I was doing the yo-yo drugs. I was taking maybe something like a benzodiazepine or gabapentin for anxiety, certain types of mental health problems, pain. People will take gabapentin, but again, it can loosen the bowels because it's a muscle. It can act as a muscle relaxant and as a nervine, as can benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines, muscle relaxants, again, can loosen the bowels, but they can also cause the slurring of the words, which we sometimes will see in Trump early in the morning, maybe because he was up late at night, couldn't sleep from amphetamines, took a benzo, and then the mouth becomes lazy, the bowels become lazy. And again, it's another problem controlling the bowels because of this hyperactivity, which can cause irregularity in the bowels, and then loosening of the bowels because of these types of muscle relaxants. The other thing I felt was that it was getting harder for me to maintain my physical health because I was getting older. I feel aged. I feel old as this person, as a remote viewer. I use heart-centered remote viewing, so I become the target. I become the person I'm asked to remote view. And I felt that I was losing my ability to take care of my hygiene because that's something we see in older patients. They will stop bathing, they will stop taking care of their hygiene, and fecal incontinence is associated with dementia. So if you Google dementia and fecal incontinence, you'll see a correlation between dementia and fecal incontinence. And again, that's because there's a correlation between loss of mental faculties and ability to control the bowels, but specifically we see nerve damage. Nerve damage both in dementia and nerve damage in fecal incontinence. Also, there's a correlation between diabetes, neuropathy, nerve pain, which might be a reason to prescribe gabapentin. Gabapentin works on GABA receptors, and again, that would have an impact possibly on higher risk for fecal incontinence. This is something we see with drug addicts where they will go into rehab and they will we'll see in extreme cases of drug addiction, inability to take care of their hygiene, and sometimes fecal incontinence. You'll see this sometimes in the homeless, where the homeless can't bathe on a regular basis and are struggling with self-care due to the side effects of the drugs and the implications to mental health, physical health, etc. If I were to be asked to make an assessment as a trained remote viewer for a psychiatrist or for the police, I would say that this is a person with a prescription drug problem, is yo-yo prescription drugs. I believe that this person is doing yo-yo prescription drugs, appears to have some nerve pain, possibly due a neuropathy due to arthritis, aging, and possibly diabetes. I believe this individual may have been on or is on medications like gabapentin, benzodiazepines, and amphetamines. And I believe this individual, based on this profile, is struggling with dementia, and that is also aggravating their ability to properly care for themselves, their hygiene, and that it may be aggravating if they have a previous history of fecal incontinence. So, do I feel that somebody with this type of profile should be running for president? It would be my professional opinion that they would need a team of doctors and specialists to help them, and that in a very short amount of time they would have to be in some kind of an institution to receive proper care, because I don't believe that this individual can properly take care of himself. All right, I want to thank you for watching this remote view. If you need to see me as a remote viewer, you can find the information below. I'm also a medical intuitive, a naturopathic doctor. Again, you can book me through Booksy. Thank you for coming in. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.